just left the gym and came back behind here because I was gonna make this video, and boom, the train is here. Ooh, and I just love trains. It's not the train part that I like. Well, I kind of like the trains because there's something just ooh about it. You just don't mess with the train. Don't get in its way because you ain't gonna stop. But that part of the train is pretty cool. I just really like the graffiti on the train because, man, you get some amazing graffiti on the trains, and they're coming from who knows where, all across Canada and the US or wherever else they're from. So the graffiti is just so cool. Whoa, that was so epic. I'm a bit of a weirdo when it comes to my excitement for graffiti. All right, what's up, guys? So just a quick talking head video today about a question I've had pop up the last few times, and I'm really not too sure how to answer this question, but I've had a multitude of them I would like to answer in this video. Questions like, Chrome, if you ever did van life over again, would you do your build exactly the same? And other questions that were kind of round about the same. You know, if I did it again, would I change anything? You know, what would I do different in the van on round 2 than I did the first time? So let me just, instead of answering those individual questions, because some of those questions I find hard to answer, because if I were to ever redo this again, it's kind of hard because I've already done it. So to do it again, of course I wouldn't start with a plastic cupboard for my dresser. I wouldn't, because if I've already done it, I know what I want and need in the next build. So let's back this up a little bit. I wouldn't change anything about how I started van life. I think this is probably the best way to answer these. I wouldn't change a thing. I think starting out super simple, super basic, without building it, is a freaking awesome way to get things started. For many, many reasons. One reason is that you have no clue what you need. When you move into a van, you have no clue what you need versus your current, like, sticks and bricks, like house or condo situation versus your van. This thing is way freaking different than an average place that you're paying rent for kind of right now. So I wouldn't change how I started because there's just so many factors that are different. Like, I don't want or need a sink. If I would have went out and spent all that money to buy a fridge, I would have realized that the fridge was just kind of a pain for me. It's not for me. Fridges are for some people, coolers are for some people. That's the best thing about this world, is that people are different and like different things. I wouldn't change a thing because I think starting off super basic with just the bare bones really teaches you what you need, you know, and how much you need. If I would have started with all these big, huge, glamorous luxury items, battery, solar, you know, all this electrical stuff and big fancy things and a bathroom and a toilet and a shower, I wouldn't have learned that most of that stuff means nothing to me. Because if you start and you throw it all in there because you think, because you had all that stuff in your apartment, that because you had it in your apartment, it's a necessity you need in your van, and it's not a necessity. Your van and your van life and your new future lifestyle is completely different. So starting off with the bare bones, I think, is just freaking amazing. Not only because it is so cheap to start van life when you're just going to throw $50 worth of wood to build a bed frame, $100 mattress, $20 cooler, and you're out the freaking door with clothes and stuff you have from home for blankets and stuff to throw on the bed you have. So really, ideally, you could start van life for under $500. It really teaches you what you truly need in your life. Because I started off with so little, I learned that all I really need is a little. So starting off cheap not only stirs up a whole lot of extra money, and also makes it a lot more affordable to start this lifestyle, but it also taught me that I don't need a sink. And then that whole worry about bathrooms, got to put a toilet. After being in the van for a year, I realized I don't need a toilet. I don't need something taking up this much room in my van. I don't need it. I've had access to so many public bathrooms and found bathrooms in places I didn't even know bathrooms existed. It's so freaking simple. But if I would have put a bathroom in there, that would have been a major amount of square footage. And trust me, you don't want to screw around with the square footage in your van. It's so important that I would have lost a major chunk of my home. And then let's take a look at all sorts of other things. Shower, don't need it. I got Anytime Fitness. There's one right there. And or any rec center everywhere. But there's so many easy conveniences outside of the van that I don't need those things inside of my van. I think if you start like I did, you learn real quick on what's a life necessity and what's not. Sure, there's been plenty of times I wish I had power in the back of my van to charge my laptop because it died late at night, where I'd have to plug it into the van battery and then sometimes start the van for 10 minutes just to make sure it didn't kill the battery. I've gotten through this past year without it. But I wouldn't change a single thing about how I started this. It was so easy and affordable and cheap, and I think anybody can jump into it and do it the way I did if you don't want to dish over the cash. Now, if I were to buy a second van, the question is, would I do it basic? Of course I would not do it basic. I've been in my van when it was just a few plastic things to store my clothes in, a bed, a cooler, and that's it. I've been in my van a few months later when I threw a small amount of insulation in it. And I lived in my van for 6 months, seeing all my insulation. That's it, with all the basic plastic things I had to keep my clothes and stuff in. But I've been there, done that, spent my year in a confined small little space to know what I want, to know what I need. So if I were to ever get myself the huge van home of my dreams, I would know what I want and need. So yes, I would build out the next van. Sure, I might live in it for a couple of months, keeping it really simple as I slowly start to add and build things. And I will do that in the next one. I don't think I would ever buy a van, let it sit, build it all out, then move into it. But that's the biggest thing I learned of doing things the way I did, is that I don't need a lot of things. I don't need a lot of those major big luxury things that I thought I did. This just goes to show that you can do this and you can start this lifestyle without adding all those big things when you start. Okay, I know people are like, oh, this is getting so expensive to add up. Then don't do it all at the same time. Live in it for a couple of months, then throw a roof vent in. Live in it for a couple of months, then maybe add a battery or whatever. You don't have to do it all at the very beginning. And I'm freaking driving proof. I am proof that you can live in a van for one entire year through multiple different weather changes and multiple different seasons with no battery, no solar, no freaking nothing like that, no freaking roof vent or anything crazy. You can do it. Sure, adding those things are a freaking awesome luxury. You just do them when you can afford them. Now that I'm fully 100% debt free, which was my prime focus for the longest time, is now that all that stuff is out of my life, now I can start purchasing all of the luxury things that I didn't want to spend money on because I'm like, okay, that's $500. No, I'm going to throw that towards my debt. That can wait. So yeah, I'm sure at some point in the near, really close future, when money permits, I'll do it. I'm going to add some ventilation to the van, and I'm going to add a battery. Yeah, we're losing kind of all our sun here. It's getting super freaking dark out, and I don't even need these anymore. Whoa. It's dark out. But I'm a big believer in that because it's not only for the build side, but for you. I think doing stuff like that will show you as a person how little you need to be extremely happy. And that's the freaking key. The key to everything isn't having the luxuries, is just to keep things as minimal as you can, to know that you can do this with very little. Look at my build. Inside of my van has gotten, it looks pretty. but that's it. Some home furnishings and some nice pretty wall. The same bed I started out with, kind of like a cooler. Super easy. Anyway, here comes another train. I'm gonna let you go because things are about to get super loud. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay beautiful. Love everybody around you, but most of all, love yourself, you guys. Hit that subscribe button. Welcome to the family. And ooh, here comes another train. All right, I gotta go record this because I don't want to miss the train graffiti. I'll talk to you guys very soon. Ooh, you can feel it shaking. Woo! Yeah! All right, I'm gonna put the camera on. I'll see you guys soon, and thanks for being here, you guys. Oh yeah, here comes some graffiti. See you soon.